Pilipinas, bago ako sa pakikipagkapwa may pagbabago. Iwaksi ang pagiging makasarili, pagmamahal sa bayan dapat manatili. Wala kang magagawa ka mo, wala talaga kapag sarili lang ang iniisip mo. Pero pag tayo aangat kang sigurado, dapat Pilipinas bago ang kahit.
Alright, yan. Magandang araw mga kabatas natin at welcome sa isang mong live stream. Okay na yung boses ko kanina. Parang ngayon napasubo na naman. Anyway, that's how it is. It is what it is. Na-open ko yan sa misis ko kahapon. Sabi niya wala akong kape. Akala ko kape. Pake pala. Yun lang. Yun lang. Hindi makakain ng impeachment.
Wala na yatang taong makabayan, sa kampanya na lang sila napapakinggan. Sa dulo, sarili ang pinipili, kaya hanggang ngayon.
Okay, mga kabatas natin, rekta na tayo dito. Okay, mga kabatas natin, 4 parts ito, pansamantala. Okay? Pero mukhang haba pa kasi dami na nating comment. Umpisa pa lang tayo. Wala pa rin laman bulsa ko, attorney. Ganun talaga. What can you do? Impeachment is the important test. Okay, mga kabatas natin. Number 7. Sabi dito sa argument, DVP Sara. Unfortunately, by directing the respondent House Secretary to freeze the first 3 impeachment complaints to make way for the 4th impeachment complaint, well, it was not frozen. It was actually transmitted. Ulit-ulitin natin. I-download nyo na ito. I-download nyo na ito.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaint.
It was acted upon. It was not frozen. Galing strategy ni Atty para hindi sunduin pinayagan mag-Minecraft si Zach. Hindi, may biyahe kami ngayon kaya naantay ko yung panganay ko kasi nag-party pa, may sarili ng mundo. Bago kami aalis. May lakad kami. So habang hindi pa kami umaalis, mag-livestream tayo. Ito. Di ba? Napakaganda to. Sabi kasi it was frozen. It was not frozen.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before it be moved to the Committee on Justice.
Sabi dito, well, pwede bang i-present pa yan? Pwede yan. Kasi kung after yan, mga kabatas natin, okay, hindi naman nila na-discover yan, that's newly discovered evidence. Pag newly discovered evidence yan, babaguhin nila nitong number 7 nila. Okay? They did not direct the respondent House to freeze first the 3 impeachment complaints to make way for the 4th impeachment complaint. Hindi. Ang ginawa nila, they transmitted it. Okay? And that is the reason why they were able to actually study it. Because if it was not transmitted, how were they were able to study it? Ano ba yung term na ginamit niya? Gusto kong gamitin yung term na ginamit niya. Gusto kong gamitin yung term na ginamit niya. Ano yung term na ginamit niya? Tuwang-tuwa talaga ako sa sinabi niya na yun eh.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaint.
Look further into the complaint. Yun yung term niya. Look further into the complaint. Kailan nagkakaroon ng look further into the complaint? After transmittal. Papakita ko ulit sa inyo. Para dun sa mga bago-bago lang, okay? Ito kasi, mga kabatas natin. The House Committee on Justice ruled on October 13, 2003 that the first impeachment complaint was sufficient in form but voted to dismiss the same on October 20 to 2003 for being insufficient in substance. Okay. So doon nila titignan and they will look further into that after transmittal. So ibig sabihin they are just denying transmittal but actually there was transmittal because they were able to
It was actually the request of the congressman to look further into the complaints before
when
it
does
be
that
moved
happen? After
to the Committee on
transmittal.
Justice.
Di ba? Sabi doon, okay, after initiation, nangyayari ang initiation, pag may nag-file tapos transmit ito sa Committee on Justice. Nangyari na. GG. Ito. Fourth complaint, which was filed around a month or two after the House of Representatives committed grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction by circumventing and violating the one-year ban set by no less than the Constitution. Diba? But it was not frozen. Tapos, hindi ko alam pero we'll discover eventually. Diniscuss ba nila dito yung archival? Diba? Yung archival nung impeachment complaint. Kasi nga, mga kabatas natin, that be tantamount to dismissal. This calls for the Honorable Court's expanded certiorari jurisdiction under Section 1, Article 8 of the Constitution, which grants it the power to determine whether or not there has been grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction on the part of any branch or instrumentality of the government. Yan yung mga kabatas natin. Tinatawag na judicial review. Power of judicial review. That is exclusive to the courts. This simply means that this honorable court has the power to ensure that acts of any branch or instrumentality of the government, even those not judicial or quasi-judicial in nature, conform to the Constitution. Mga kabatas natin, wala naman ng issue dito kung meron jurisdiction ang Supreme Court dito o wala. Kasi nga, it was already ruled in Francisco versus House of Representatives. Nandito. Okay, so tatalunin na lang natin yan. Okay, ito. I discussed to you Francisco versus House of Representatives na rin. Yun yung sinabi rin dyan. No? Resolve na rin dyan yun. Okay. Okay, so may jurisdiction. In my opinion, meron talagang jurisdiction dyan. Direct resort to this honorable court in its original jurisdiction is also justified. Bakit kailangan nilang banggitin dito? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na hierarchy of courts. Ito, mga kabatas natin. Hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta pumunta sa Supreme Court. May hierarchy of courts. Punta ka muna dun sa mga mabababang korte. Kapag hindi ka nakakuha ng iyong gustong relief sa baba, sa kakaakyat. So if you will go directly to the Supreme Court, you really have to explain this. Sabi niya, direct recourse to this honorable court is generally improper because it is a court of last resort and must remain to be so in order for it to satisfactorily perform its constitutional functions, thereby allowing it to devote its time and attention to matters within its exclusive jurisdiction and preventing overcrowding of its docket. There are nonetheless recognized exceptions to the rule. So ito, linagay nila yung exceptions to the rule. Mga kabatas natin, ito, genuine issues of constitutionality, they raise that, okay? Transcendental importance, importante ito, sabi naman ng Supreme Court. Supreme Court mismo ang nagsabi niyan. That's why they certified urgent yung mga cases relating to the impeachment of VP Sara. Okay? In cases of first impression, ibig sabihin, unang-una, okay? Constitutional issues. Okay? Yan, na, syempre, Supreme Court ang may better judgment. Okay? Ito, urgent. Okay? blah, 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 blah. Yan. Most, if not all of these exceptions are present, sabi niya. Okay? Ito, diniscuss niya rin ito. Pero sasabihin, malamang mga kabatas natin na the Supreme Court will take cognizance of this case. They will take cognizance of this case. Diniscuss dito mga kabatas natin sa page 5 yung issues ng constitutionality. Okay? Ito, in addition, considering that the subject of the impeachment effort in this case is the removal of or perpetual disqualification of the second highest official of the court elected by the overwhelming number of the electorate, the issues raised are of transcendental importance dictated by the public welfare and advancement of public policy. Alam niyo kung bakit importante rin ito mga kabatas natin na hindi matuloy yung impeachment na yan? Like I told you mga kabatas natin, magkano yung pondo na gagastusin natin dyan? Magkano yung ilalaan na pondo dyan? Yan pa mga kabatas natin. Tapos pangalawa, ilang tauhan ng gobyerno ang madi-disable? Ilang tauhan ng gobyerno ang madi-disable kapag nagkaroon ng hearing tungkol dyan? That is the very reason why there is a 1-year ban. Bakit? Kasi nga, mga kabatas natin, hindi tama na kapag meron kang isang elected official, okay, na impeachable officer, ang gagawin niya na lang sa buong tenure niya magdepensa sa isang constitutional, sa isang impeachment proceeding. Hindi pwede. 1 million lang daw sabi ni Cheese. I doubt it. 1 million lang yung budget. Subnautica nilalaro yung... Oo, Subnautica yun. Yun ang dahilan dyan. Because mga kabatas natin, we are electing officials for them to actually serve the public and not defend themselves in cases. Otherwise, wala silang magagawa. 1 million budget except attorney's fees. Tama. Attorney's fees pa lang, mahina na yung 1 million. Mahina na yung 1 million sa attorney's fees. Ilan pang abogado yun? Every effort must therefore be exerted to determine whether there was strict compliance with constitutionally imposed procedures and observance of constitutionality standards and restrictions. Needless to say, the right to vote and be represented by chosen representatives are the very bedrock of the Philippines as a republican and democratic state. Tama. Yun kasi mga kabats natin eh. These elected officials, no, which are actually the highest officers of the land, have the mandate of the people. Di ba? Mahina na nga 1M sa SONA eh. Di ba? Ilan yun? 20 million? Second, the issue raised in this petition is one of first impression. Jurisprudence is silent on the legal implication of the Secretary General's refusal to do its mandatory duty to immediately refer impeachment complaints to the Speaker of the House of Representatives under its House Rules on Impeachment, Section 3, Rule 2, of which reads, ito, Section 3, filing and referral of verified complaints. A verified complaint for impeachment by a member of the House or by any citizen upon a resolution of endorsement by any member thereof shall be filed with the office of the Secretary General and immediately referred to the Speaker. Speaker! Dali sila dito. Ni-refer naman. Kaya nga napag-aralan nila eh. Di ba? Kaya nga napag-aralan nila. Third, considering the decisions of this honorable court form part of the law of the land, the issues raised in this petition, which are novel and of first impression, are best decided by it. Fourth, the issues raised in this petition requires utmost dispatch. Ito yung urgency. Okay, as the looming impeachment trial before the Senate on the basis of the fourth impeachment complaint should not prevent the petitioner performing her official functions as the Vice President of the Philippines and Congress from attending to its main work of lawmaking, which in fact is one of the very purposes of the one-year bar. Yan, sinabi ko rin sa inyo yan. Di ba, kalokohan, mauumay kayo dito mga bats natin. Fifth, there is no plain, speedy, and adequate remedy to the petitioner since nothing in the Constitution, the law, or even the House of Rules on impeachment that offers the petitioner any recourse when the House of Representatives orders the Secretary General to freeze. Hindi niya freeze the movement of an impeachment complaint that has already been admitted publicly to have been verified by the Secretary General and ready for referral to the Speaker. Ni-refer na. Pinag-aralan na nga ni Lee. Di ba? Di ba? Hindi siya freeze. Pag freeze, nandun lang siya. Hindi siya gagalaw. Okay? That's the very definition of freeze. Anong ginawa dito? Pinag-aralan na nila. So, ibig sabihin, na-refer na. Parties, wag na natin basahin yan. Simpleng-simple lang yan. Payment of fees. Kailangan bayaran kasi yan. Statement of facts. Maganda ito. Tingnan natin. In December 2024, three separate impeachment complaints against the petitioner were filed and received by Respondent Secretary General Velasco. Ito nung December 2, December 4. Tingnan nyo mga kabats natin. In-endorse na yung complaint sa first impeachment. Okay? Tapos, in-endorse din yung second. Tapos, in-endorse din yung third. 2, 4, tsaka 19. Ngayon, in-attach lang nila yan. Tapos, dapat immediately referred to the Speaker. However, even after Congress took a recess on December 18, 2024, or 16 days after the filing of the first impeachment complaint, and 14 days after the filing of the second impeachment complaint, Respondent Secretary General Velasco did not transmit any of them to Speaker. Na-transmit niya. Kaya nga nila na pag-aralan. Pag hindi nila trinansmit yan, wala silang pag-aaralan. Di ba? Simpleng-simple. Then, in a news article published on January 2, 2025 by ABS-CBN, Respondent Secretary General Velasco publicly revealed that several members of the House of Representatives requested him not to refer any of the first three impeachment complaints, to give them more time to endorse any of them, consolidate any of them, or file fourth impeachment complaint. Tulad na sinabi ko mga kabatas natin, to consolidate, sana ang ginawa nila, in-amend nila yung first complaint within a reasonable time. Tapos yun ang trinansmit. Wala sanang issue pag ganun. Di ba? Pero ito hindi na eh. Pero syempre, dahil yung una, A and B ang dinaanan nun, dapat ganun din yung mangyayari na proseso na. Hindi na dapat magbabago. Ibig sabihin dito mga kabatas natin, parallel yung apat na tumatakbo ngayon. Because if we will take into consideration the action of the Speaker in archiving mga kabatas natin, the three other impeachment complaints, they are still active. They are still there. Diba? Archive lang, waiting for a revival. Ganun naman eh. Ano ba ang ginagawa sa mga archived? Nire-revive. Diba? After i-revive yan, it's either itutuloy o i-dismiss. Pwede mo pa bang ituloy yan? Hindi na. Diba? Kasi meron ng isang impeachment complaint. So, dismissal na lang ang tanging dahilan dyan. O ang tanging pwedeng gawin dyan. Pero nung in-archive mo yan, because there is actually another third impeachment complaint, it is tantamount to dismissal. Di ba? Kasi nga, can you still revive the archived impeachment complaint? Pwede mo pa bang i-revive ito? Hindi na. Kasi nga may fourth impeachment complaint na. So that archival is tantamount to dismissal. Di ba? Tama. Consider dismissed na yung mga na-archive. Correct. So dahil na-dismiss na yon, pumasok na ulit yung ban. Di ba? On January 7, 2025, in a public interview with Karen Davila, publicly posted by ANC 24/7, when asked why none of the first three impeachment complaints has been transmitted to respondent Speaker Romualdez, the respondent Secretary General Velasco reiterated that the House of Representatives majority members asked him not to in order to give them more time to decide whether or not to file another impeachment complaint. May kapangyarihan ba yung majority na pigilan yung transmittal? Wala. Diba? Kasi nga, it is the duty, D-U-T-Y, of the Secretary General to immediately transmit it. Di ba? Dyslexic nga kayo, attorney. Mas mabilis yung mata kong gumagano. Baliktad yung basa ko, especially pag numbers. Di ba? Meron ba doon? It says immediately transfer. Immediately transmit to the Committee on Justice for them to dismiss it, or actually, kapag sufficient in form and substance ito, it will prosper. Oh. Tapos may interview pa si Representative Zamora, importante 'yon. Sa tingin ko, mas incriminating yun kaysa ito. In that interview, Respondent Secretary General Velasco publicly admitted that the reason for withholding the first three impeachment complaints is that if any of them is transmitted, then it would be the only one complaint that will be studied by the House Committee on Justice. But they studied it already, clearly alluding to the 1 year bar. The relevant portions of the interview are reproduced below. Ito. Yan. Ito. So if I will transmit the three complaints filed so far, then that would be the only complaints that will be studied by the Speaker for referring to the Committee on Rules. Pero inabandon nyo yun eh. Hindi nyo siya final eh. Di ba? In other words, dismissed. Because you cannot revive it anymore because there is a pending fourth impeachment complaint. Oh my goodness. Ito kasi ang nangyayari pag hindi ka sumusunod sa proseso. Nagkakaroon ng problema, ng kalokohan katulad nito. Karen Davila, sabi niya, so, what you mean is that all the impeachment complaints have to be transmitted once. You can transmit the first three and then the fourth will follow. Well, there might be complications if I will not be able to transmit all of them at the same time. Pero hindi mga transmit yung unang tatlo. It was dismissed. Technically, it was dismissed. When you archived it, because you cannot validly You cannot validly revive those 3 impeachment complaints. They are as good as dismissed. Di ba? Oh, sa sobrang dami nating alam dito, mga kapatid natin, ewan ko lang kung sinong hindi yayaman sa sobrang daming alam natin sa impeachment na. Di ba? Oh, like what? Well, one complication is the proponents and sponsors or endorsers of the 3 complaints will say, well, nauna kami. We should be the only ones who should be referred or transmitted to the office of the speaker. Totoo naman yun. Not the 4th, not the 5th, not the 6th. That's a complication. I want to give them a fair chance. Paano naging fair chance? Pinagsabay-sabay mo yung 3 na hindi sabay-sabay. That's not even fair anymore. Di ba? Pati sa pila, ganun naman yan eh. Simpleng pila sa jeep. Hindi pwedeng sabay-sabay silang pumasok sa jeep. Hindi, para walang kaguluhan. Kayo na 20, 20han naman yung 20han naman yung jeep, sabay-sabay kayong pumasok. Para depende na lang sa inyo kung saan kayo upo. Hindi. 'Di ba? Kung sino nauna, siya dapat. That's the natural flow of things. Tapos yun ang masakit, Rafi. Bandang huli, sabay-sabay na archive. Malungkot. Dami nang alam sa impeachment, wala pa rin pang sisig. Si Ricol nag-reveal ng sisig namin nung huli. Thank you, Ricol. Thank you. Di ba, file tayo ng kaso. Sabi niya, in that same interview, responding Secretary General Velasco also stated that if any impeachment complaint obtains the signature of at least 1/3 of the members of the House of Representatives, the same is what they call the express fast-track route and will not be referred anymore to any committees. And there will be no process that will have to be done since the impeachment complaint will constitute the articles of impeachment and immediately referred to the Senate for action. Injustice. Injustice to the complainants. Isipin mo, gumawa ka ng impeachment complaint tapos i-archive lang pala. Akala ko talaga, mga kapatid natin, ang consolidation na gagawin nila dito ay yung pag-aaralan nila yung mga kasi di ba nandoon, tapos yung first impeachment ang ifa-file pa rin nila. Tapos the same petitioners pa rin. Pero hindi. Kasi syempre, meron niyang 1-year ban. Nandoon yung interview. O, sama sa interview. January 10, 2025. In another interview posted publicly by ANC 24/7. Sabi ni Secretary General Velasco, he will continue to hold the first 3 impeachment complaints to give the House of Representatives and its members more time. Bakit hold? Kasi alam niyo, mga kabatas natin, no? You know why this is already injustice? Okay? Di ba? Justice delayed is justice denied. Di ba meron kasabihan na ganon? Nung punto na hinold niya ito, mga kabatas natin, in favor of a particular party that is already injustice to the Vice President and the people who voted for the Vice President. Diba? Why? Because, mga kabatas natin, like I said, yung sword of Damocles. Bakit mo yung hold yan? May procedure. Pati nga sa korte, di ba? Bawal ang reset ng reset. Bakit? Kasi nga, syempre, yung mga tao, parties to the case, nagsasuffer. Habang tumatagal yan, nabababad yung kaso, meron silang inaatupag. Di ba? O dito, i-freeze muna natin. Bakit? Kaya nga nakalagay doon immediately. Kasi nga, para yung tao na i-impeach, hindi na iisipin yan. Kung mas maaga yan, haharapin. Di ba? Kasi, isipin mo ito, paano ka magtatrabaho na maayos kung pinapahaba ng pinapahaba yung kaso laban sa'yo? Eh di meron kang inaatupag na iba. Sabi niya, he also revealed that there were around 12 members coming from both the majority and minority that made the request. He, however, refused to disclose who these congressmen were. The best pa rin dito ito pa rin si Representative Zamora. Ito pa rin ang paborito ko.
For us, there was no violation. It was actually the request of the congressmen to look further into the complaints.
Pinag-aralan na nila yan. It was not frozen. It was already transmitted. Kaya lang mga kabatas natin, because maybe those impeachment complaints are not for their benefit. Baka nga insufficient inform and substance, mahina. O kaya sufficient inform pero hindi substance. O kaya insufficient inform pero sufficient in substance. Pinag-aralan. So na-transmit.
Meant to look further into the complaints.
Kakulot pa man din ni Chibi at no nonsense proof na hindi lahat ng marawan yan, issue hindi tao. Kayo. Nakita ko yung live stream mo na na kay Pastor Kibuloy, tao ka, hindi issue. Tawa ko ng tawa. Ito yung sinaya. Kailangan pagbigyan natin sila, members of the House Dito pala makikita mo na yung grave abuse of discretion din on the part of Secretary Velasco. Bakit hindi ang pagbigyan mo ay yung batas natin? O kaya, bakit hindi ang pagbigyan mo ay si VP Sara? Para i-transmit na yan at malaman niya kung talagang matatanggal siya sa trabaho o hindi. O kaya pagbigyan mo kami na ayaw sa impeachment na yan at gusto ko nga matapos na agad-agad yan Kasi nga sayang lang sa oras at sayang sa pera yan. Bakit hindi kami yung pagbigyan mo? Bakit yung mga congressman ang pinagbigyan mo? Di ba? Sabi ni Chibi, duda kakulot niya, meron. Di ba? Kasi nga, you are serving the people. You're a public servant. Tapos kailangan natin pagbigyan sila, members of the House. 12. This information was shared to me in confidence kaya I cannot reveal them to you. Well, I think they got everything they need already. They don't need the names. After this exercise, I'll give it to you. Pag natapos, na-transmit ko na sa inyo. Sa speaker, I will give you a copy of these communications I received. Pero di ba napag-aralan na nila? Anyway, lipat na tayo mga pasos natin. Para matapos natin lahat ng live stream natin. Kasi nga, tulad ng sabi ko, may lakad kami. Maraming salamat po. Siyempre, tulad laging sasabi, matulog po tayo na mahibing dahil alam natin na natutulog na mahibing, siya yung laging panalo. Paalam po, pansamantala.